and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria. Amen. Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, please let us look at the votes and proceedings of the 10th day of December 2024, page 981 of December 2024, page 982, page 983, page 984, page 985, page 986, oh, copies. Sorry, my distinguished colleagues, if you don't have the votes and proceedings, can you indicate so that we know? If you don't have, or you have, okay, Senator Alero, you are the only one that does not have. Apparently, they don't like you. Only that line. Are they giving you? I thought they were distributing according to. Maybe I thought they were elders of opposition. That's why they missed you out. Okay, so we can go ahead now. Thank you. Page 987, page 988, page 989, page 990, page 991, 980, yes, dismissed Senator Abariwa.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Seyin Baribe. I think in 982, name number 1, I think wrongly spelled.
Yes, what section?
It's Wogu, W-O-G-U, instead of Nwogu. Before another person comes and says it's the person.
What is it? 9. Okay. Okay, that is how the letter came from the president. So maybe that is how the letter came from the president. So maybe when he appears before the committee, he will correct his name. So for now, we just replicated what we saw. Noted. Page 990, page 991, page 992, page 993, page 994. Yes, the same Senator Akobundu. Oh, sorry, I thought you raised your hand. Okay, you were greeting me. Okay. Thank you. Page 995, page 996, page 997, page 998, page 999, page 1000, page 1001, page 1002, page 1003, page 1004, page 1005, page 1006, page 1007, page 1008, page 1009, page 1010, page 1011, page 1012, page 1013, page 1014, page 1015, page 1016. Distinguished Senator Palm.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I rise to adopt the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 10th December 2014. So moved.
Distinguished Senator Bomai.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, my name is Ibrahim Mohammed Bomai. I rise to second the motion duly moved by my colleague that the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 10th of December 2024 be adopted. I so move.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, the 10th day of December 2024 be adopted. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, where we have the Students Representatives Council, Federal Polytechnic bidder in Niger State, who are in the gallery to observe Senate proceedings. I want to wish you all fruitful observation of the proceedings of the day. May God take you back safely to your destination. You may be seated. Distinguished colleagues, this is from the Clerk of the Senate. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, President of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, retirement of Clerk of Senate and Deputy Clerk, Legislative, and appointment of new Clerk, Senate, and Deputy Clerks, Legislative and Administrative. I wish to formally inform Your Excellency and distinguished senators that Mrs. Isabella Okochi Iloba, the Deputy Clerk, Legislative, retired from service on Wednesday, the 6th day of November, 2024. In the same vein, the Clerk of Senate, Chinedu Francis Akubweze, is retiring today, 11th day of December 2024, on attainment of the age of 60 years. National Assembly Service Commission has approved the appointments of Mr. Andrew Obonaya Nwoba as the Clerk of the Senate, with effect from 11th day of December 2024. Before his appointment, Mr. Ngoba was the Secretary, Directorate of Legislative Budgets and Planning. The Commission further endorsed the elevation of key officers of the Senate bureaucracy as follows. Mr. Rawlings Agada, the Deputy Clerk Administration to Deputy Clerk Legislative, Senate. Mr. Emmanuel Odo, Director as Clerk, Administration, Senate. That is Emmanuel Odo. Mr. Rawlings Agada, the Deputy Clerk, Administration, Legislative. No, move to Deputy Clerk, Legislative. That's you. What of Mr. Emmanuel Odo? Okay, how are you? Congratulations. Now, Director, Clerk, Administration, Senate. Well, this letter is signed by Chinedu Francis Aguboeze, outgoing Clerk of the Senate. Let me use this opportunity to congratulate the Clerk of Senate for serving his country meritoriously, particularly your services rendered to this Senate. I can say on behalf of my colleagues that having tested the proceedings of the 8th Senate, and particularly our votes and proceedings, that you have been a very thorough and wonderful servant of your nation. 60, I want to wish you more graceful decades of joy, peace, happiness, prosperity, as you play with your children and grandchildren. So congratulations. May God continue to keep you strong for us. And then for Mr. Rawlings Agada, you're welcome as our Clerk Legislative. And we know you are still serving, your knees are still strong, and we are already used to your face. On behalf of my colleagues, I congratulate you on this elevation. I don't know whether in line with Senate proceedings, we can regulate our rules, but I think we will discuss he's working with us today because he's retiring later in the day. So, and the incoming clerk, they have to learn from him. Whenever we had our proceedings, when you see my colleagues read these things before they come here, we move from page 1 to the final page without much correction because he was very thorough. So for you to fit into that shoe, don't allow us to waste 1 hour correcting votes and proceedings before we start anything. You understand? We wish you well. We welcome you to the Senate. Now we bid goodbye from the floor to the Clerk of the Senate. Distinguished colleagues, before I drop the gavel, I'd like to announce that in view of the elevation of my Chief of Staff to the position of Executive Director, Southeast Development Commission, because we are very used to my office has decided to appoint him as the Chief of Staff to the Senate President. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Be careful, you are shaking the Chief of Staff to the Senate President. Okay. Good man. Distinguished colleagues, in line with the Senate procedures, I would like the clerk, Chief Akabweze, to greet the principal officers, take a bow, and depart, but right to the last floor to go and assume duties as the acting Chief of Staff until the Chief of Staff departs. And then in the meantime, we invite him to lead his successor to take his seat before he departs from here. The minority leader, you made a suggestion. You made a suggestion. I thought you should do so for your colleagues. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to move a motion that in view of the meritorious service of our outgoing clerk of the Senate, that one or two senators in this hallowed chamber be allowed to make some comments, some form of tribute to the outgoing clerk of the Senate. having served the Senate meritoriously and retiring without blemish. I so move, Mr. President.
Yes, dismissed Senator Orji Sakalo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to support the motion ably moved by Minority Leader that one or two senators should say something about Barrister Akubeze. But in seconding the motion, I want to thank Mr. President, first of all, for the gift by making him your acting. Oh, I'm so. It's a motion. I'm supporting the motion. And in supporting the motion, I will say something and sit down. It's allowed. I supported the motion. Mr. President, give me. Thank you. Rule on the motion.
And yes, dismissed Senator Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my dear colleagues. Henry Sirake Dixon, Bayelsa West. Short amendment, without detracting from the essence of the motion, is that the Senate leader, on behalf of the leadership and all of us, the Senate leader should make brief remarks so that we don't elevate it to the status of a valedictory session. I so move.
Dismissed Senator Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President. Muhammad Adamu Alero is my name. Mr. President, I rise to second the amendment of the motion moved by Minority Leader, seconded by Senator Ojikalu, amended by Senator Dixon Siraki.
What was the amendment?
The amendment is that the Senate leader should deliver a message of
Appreciation.
on behalf of all of us.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved, seconded, amended, and seconded. Those in support of the amended motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate leader, you have been directed by your colleagues to say a word or two about our retiring clerk of the Senate, in whom we are all very well pleased. Senator Opeyemi Bamidele.
Well, Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I want to begin by thanking the minority leader for considering it important for some of our distinguished senators to say something about the outgoing clerk of the Senate, the Nigerian patriot, lawyer, citizen Chinedu Francis Ubeze. I also thank the elders of the Senate, some of whom stood up to make an amendment that the Senate leader, on their behalf, rather should stand up to say something. I therefore request that whatever I say be deemed to have been said by each and every senator, distinguished senator, who has had the privilege of working or being served by our dear brother Chinedu. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, here stands before us a Nigerian patriot, detribalized totally, and an accomplished civil servant. As much as possible, I want to say that on a personal note, I first met my dear brother Chinedu in 1992. He was a young lawyer employed into the legal department of this National Assembly. And then I was also privileged to serve as the senior legislative aide to one of the distinguished senators, who by the grace of God today is the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, DCFR. Mr. Chinedu was one of those young, dynamic civil servants who waited on distinguished Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu as he was then serving as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Appropriation, Banking and Currency, as well as Insurance. All of them used to be just one committee of the Senate. And I remember how our brother Chinedu, then under the supervision of Mr. Omolori, who was the head of legal department, had to assist us in drafting motions and resolutions, and also assisting with the work of that committee, just as he was at the disposal or at the service of several other senators who saw in him dynamism. Mr. President, it's not an accident of history that today is standing before our dear colleagues and before the country in this hallowed chamber to be honored as an outgoing clerk of this Senate, having put in all the years of meritorious service until he reached the age of 60. I also think it's not an accident of history that I'm privileged as the Senate leader to also be the one that will pour these encomiums on behalf of our colleagues. Nemesis has a way of also positively catching up with people. My dear brother, you have served your country. And in serving your country, you have tried to put in your best, and you have grown through the ranks to be where you are. We can only wish you the very best that God can offer, the very best that life can also offer. And as much as possible, it's important that you see it as part of God's reward for you, that today everybody is not just saying bye-bye. You are exiting from one position as a civil servant, career civil servant, but you are being ushered in through the benevolence of the President of the Senate of the Republic of Nigeria, who has informed that you will assume office as his Chief of Staff following the appointment of his current Chief of Staff, Mr. Sylvester Okonkwo, as Executive Director, Corporate Services in the newly created Southeast Development Commission. Sir, obviously, it is also not an accident of history. It is because God saw what you did and he placed it, and you didn't lobby for this position. As a matter of fact, I was one of the privileged few to know about it because His Excellency, the President of the Senate, told me like 3 months ago. And I want to thank you on behalf of all of us, Mr. President, for also walking your talk in this regard. And I have no doubt that given what our brother has been able to do as clerk, he would be a fit and proper person to serve as chief of staff in your office, and we all look forward to working with him in that regard. This is the first time in a long time that the office of chief of staff to the Senate president will not be occupied by a non-serving senator. So as far as we are concerned, it's a very important appointment, and you will become the engine room of the office of the President of the Senate and continue to be at the service of all of us. So once again, on behalf of all of us, senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our dear brother, Mr. Chinedu Francis Akobunze, I want to thank you for your service to our fatherland, our country. I want to say thank you for your service to this institution. And I want to say we look forward to working with you as Chief of Staff to the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, I thank you so much, and I thank all our colleagues for the opportunity to speak on your behalf. Congratulations.
Thank you, Senate Leader. For the youths who are watching these proceedings today, your take home is that your attitude determines your altitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. Francis Chinedu Akabweze is being elevated from the ground floor to the leadership floor at the age of 60 because of his attitude to the nation, attitude to work, his diligence and endeavor. I can't say much because I had made up my mind that a good man like this cannot be allowed to leave us. The 10th Senate will continue to require his services, and my colleagues agree with me. Those in support that if he move from the ground floor to the fourth floor, say aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it. Congratulations. You may now take a final bow and bring your colleague. Any petitions? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, I rise pursuant to Order 12 of our rules on floor privileges. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, what I actually should be doing ordinarily would be to move for the invocation of Order 12, Order 12D of Order 12.1D of our rules to enable us admit into the chamber a non-serving.
Please, read.
Oh, thank you, sir. Order 12.1. No person shall be admitted to the lobby or the floor of the Senate while in session, except the following, and by consent of the Senate upon a motion moved by the leader of the Senate. 1D, former senators and senators-elect. But, Mr. President, rather than move for the invocation of this order, I will be moving for the suspension of the entire order, because we need to admit not just a former senator, but also those who are accompanying him, who ordinarily will not be covered under the invocation of this rule. So my motion, therefore, Mr. President, will be for us to suspend the provisions of the entire provisions of Section 12 of our order to enable us admit a non-serving senator as well as members of his entourage. Mr. President, the non-serving senator in this regard is distinguished Senator Monday Okpeholo. And why is it a non-serving senator? Our Constitution says once a member of the National Assembly from the legislative arm of government is sworn in as a member of the executive arm, he shall cease to be a member of parliament. And that is to say that upon his inauguration and swearing in as the governor of Edo State, he has ceased to be a serving senator. So in this regard, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, my motion would be to suspend Order 12 on floor privileges to enable us admit former Senator Monday Okpebolo as well as the other strangers who are accompanying him into the chamber. I so move, Mr. President.
Yes, distinguished minority leader. Distinguished minority leader. The Senate leader. Distinguished minority leader. Order 12 of our rules. He has moved a motion to invoke Order 12 to allow non-serving senators to enter the chambers. You may wish to support or second the motion.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion moved by the leader of the Senate in line with the relevant sections of our rules that we do allow the governor of Edo State, who himself was a senator, into the chambers. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the Senate leader has moved a motion for us to invoke Order 12 of our rules to allow a non-serving senator to enter the lobby of the Senate while in session. And this has been seconded by the minority leader. Those in support of the invocation of Order 12 as enshrined in our Senate standing orders, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the dismissed Senator Okpebolo can now step into the floor of the Senate. The mic. Yes. Distinguished colleagues, let me welcome our distinguished colleague in the 10th Senate, distinguished Senator, His Excellency, Senator Monday Okpebolo, now Governor of Edo State, to the 10th Senate that he belongs. On his entourage, we have His Excellency Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, Deputy Governor of Edo State, and of course, outgoing member of the House of Representatives of the 10th House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Congratulations. He's accompanying his governor to the floor of the Senate. Former Deputy Governor, Right Honorable Philip Tribal, the Ofune, you're welcome. Most distinguished Senator Matthew Orugide, fortunately, he didn't come as Chairman of Public Accounts, but we recognize your good works to your nation. He was the Director General of the campaigns. Prince Odi Okoje, member of the House of Representatives, you are welcome. Honorable Donald Ojeme, member, Edo State House of Assembly. They are also welcome. Mr. Honorable Ojeside Osesua, Sunday, member, Edo State House of Assembly. You are equally welcome. Former Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, Victor Edowo, you are welcome. Engineer Chief Lee Igba, Chairman of Lee Construction Company, you are welcome. Dr. Raphael Osage, Attorney General of Edo State. Okay. Oh, you are the one, eh? But you are my friend, huh? Before. Nice to see you. You are welcome. Honorable Kashim Afebwa, the voice of the Niger Delta. You are welcome. Dr. Blessing Agbomere, you are welcome. And all others accompanying the governor, including EJ of Code of Conduct, you are welcome. So let me, distinguished Senator Oshumole, distinguished Senator Oshumole, before I call on you to say words, I'd like to recognize Right Honorable Dr. Ogbeda Ihama, former member of the House of Representatives, who is on the, oh yeah, the political bulldozer of Edo. You are welcome. Leader of the Senate, Leader of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, the Governor of Edo State, who was with us until a few days ago, until he was elected a few days ago, had actually informed me that he was coming today to say goodbye to the 10th Senate because he has resumed new responsibilities in the executive. And I felt that we should accord him that privilege as a stranger to enter the Senate chambers and say a word or two to us, and thereafter depart to go and carry out his executive functions. But on behalf of the Senate, Let me say that this is a welcome development in case there are other young people here who may wish to aspire to positions of responsibilities in the executive arm of government. When I look to the right, I see people like Senator Bello, Senator Sani Bello, and I see Senator Oju Sokalo. No, I'm talking about people who have served. And then I look to the center, I notice people like Senator Adams Oshumole. I notice OGD, Benga Daniels, people who have served. I come to this side, I notice people like Senator Abaribe, who coincidentally was Deputy Governor of Abia State in 1999 and has been a permanent fixture in the Senate since then, irrespective of the political party. His people consistently look for his name. They will be asking which party is he contesting on, and they will vote for him. You were PDP, ADP, I think now ABGA or something, I don't know. But it's one of those political parties. So, and then, of course, Governor Dixon, you look at Governor Alero, the young shall grow. We are now ancestors. We are now ancestors because some of us were governors 18 years ago. And you are governor 20-something years ago. No problem. So I don't know, leader of the Senate, the form I think it should take. Maybe that one or two senators should say something about Okpebola while he served in the Senate, and then wish him well in a new vocation. 5 minutes, then we allow the governor to go. Deputy Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Barrow Jibrin. Mr. President, first of all, let me congratulate our brother for his well-deserved victory. The gubernatorial election that just took place at Edo State that ushered him in as a new governor of that state. I also want to congratulate his deputy, other stakeholders that are here, former colleague, Senator Matthew and the former deputy governor and others that are here. And of course, our elder statesman, our colleague, Senator Adams Oshomole. And I also extend my congratulations to the entire people of Edo State for electing him. Mr. President, Senator Monday was here with us, even though he didn't stay for so long here. For the short time he was in the Senate, he showcased himself as a man of honor, very humble person, someone that is always showing dedication to any duty assigned to him. A man of few words, was someone that is always active in whatever he is assigned to do or whatever he believes in. We are surely going to miss him because the committee he chaired, the moment he started work as chairman of that committee, he changed the entire trajectory of the committee for the better. The committee became very, very active. Committee on Public Procurement, it was everywhere, making sure that entities, agencies of government, ministries always abide by procurement law, making sure there was always value for money in the areas of contracts award and so on and so forth. He really showed that he is someone that has the interest of the people in his heart. No wonder the people of Edo State deemed me fit to elect him to be their governor. It shows that what he was doing here in the state, and of course, track record has been appreciated by the people of Edo State. A man of honor, someone that doesn't talk much, but full of action. Man of few words, but action. Yes, he changed everything in that committee. The committee became very, very, very active. Ministry were afraid to do anything that was not in order, or anything that was not in line with the procurement law. Once he started, he sanitized the entire procurement process in this country because everybody was afraid. Nobody wanted to do something bad. I didn't know that the people of Edo State were watching, looking at what he was doing. And that's why, of course, he's not elected. So that's why we tell people, do the right thing. When you do the right thing, the sky will be your limit. He was doing the right thing in the Senate, and now the people of Edo State they have appreciated what they saw in him, what they are seeing in him. So please, remain on the track, the route you are on. Be focused. And he has started. Already has started. We've been watching on TV. The way he has been changing, turning things around, the positioning Edo State, so that the state will witness a resounding development. A development that is maybe will be unprecedented from the way it's going. I'm sure it's going to change everything in Edo, that Edo State will be better for it. Once again, on behalf of my people that brought me here, and indeed my colleagues, I congratulate our brother, Senator His Excellency Monday, for this well-deserved victory. And I urge him to continue what he's doing for his people, what he's doing for Nigeria, because he has been remembered. People are showing appreciation. And I'm sure this guy will be your limit. Congratulations once more.
Well, Senator, just before Senator Oshumole, grandfather of Edo politics, says something, let me hear from Senator Neda. You know, Senator Neda, Senator Oshumole, I wish Siri would sit down. Senator Neda, yes, may wish to say something.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Neda Emaso, I representing Edo South Senatorial District, Edo State. May I, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, welcome my fellow Edolites to chambers. As you have earlier remarked, these are distinguished personalities. Our friend and our colleagues here, His Excellency Monday Ekpebolo. Welcome to the chambers, and we are glad to see you and have you here back with us again, even though for a very short time. As the Deputy Senate President remarked, we miss you, and we know that as the chairman of procurement, in the Senate, the legacy you left is such that the distinguished senator that have come after you has big shoe to fill. We also know that you will take this experience to Edo State and to replicate what you have done here to make sure that our state, Edo State, enjoys your hard work, which is record already proven before us here. We know you are a man of very few words, but you are a man of action. And for the very few weeks that you have been on the saddle now in Edo State, you have proven that. You have attacked some of the failing and ailing institutions in the state, and you have also put up your own agenda on how to rescue it. And so we congratulate you. You have the support of your colleagues here, I know. And I also know that you have able men and women behind you in Edo State. And you have His distinguished Senator Matthew Roide, who was a member of this hallowed chambers in the 8th and 9th Senate, where he chaired the Committee on Public Accounts. Your work speaks for you, and we stick and say it. Thank you for those services. Obede Hammer, thank you for coming. And the former Deputy Governor, thank you also for being here. Our Attorney General, the former minority leader in the House of Representatives, a man who is astute and hardworking, for His Excellency Modokbewolo to be able to harness this level of intelligent men to work in his cabinet. It shows very clearly that he's actually facing and working towards the right direction. And we know that at the end of the day, with the support that he has, that he will do well in the service of Edo State. So you have our prayers and our support, and we welcome you and we congratulate you for your victory. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, distinguished Senator Oshumole.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is Adams Eric Oshomole. I represent the great people of Edo North in Edo State. Let me join you, sir, Mr. President, and all my distinguished colleagues to welcome back to these chambers a young man who made the mark under 1 year of his membership of these chambers. I am not exactly sure, but I think distinguished Senator Monday, now His Excellency, the governor of my great state, the heartbeat of the Nigerian nation, is the only one, to my recollection, who has had the fortune of seeking to be elected as a senator for the very first time, and the people of his senatorial zone obliged him. He was so elected. And while in the Senate, within a year, the entire people of Edo State found him a fit and proper person at a time when our state had given up, when we had an emperor instead of a governor, when we had a tyrant who tried to run down both traditional institutions, destroy the social life, alter very negatively the economic fabric of our great state. And our people needed someone to rescue them. And so they found in distinguished Senator Monde Ukpewolo, who Edo people have now christened Akpako Rescue. Some say Akpako Miracle, etc., etc. Like everyone has said, I'm sure we all can say one thing about distinguished Senator Monday. I have never met a man as humble as distinguished Senator Monday. His humility is infectious, and yet
even as we say he's a man of few words, he made for that through action and sustained action in a manner that is clear and discernible. Mr. President said, we in Edo State, we are so happy. I can go home now without fear. And in 1 month, exactly 1 month, he was sworn in on the 12th of November, and today is 11th of December, exactly 29 days or 30 days. He has gone in history as one of the first governors who ordered 1 week, started making appointments of men and women who will help to shape the economy and the social life of Edo State. He has already taken bold steps to restore respect to the traditional institutions in Edo State. He has already started doing those things that will affect the infrastructural development of our great state that have been abandoned for many, many years. And all those he has appointed are people that some of us already know, like the Attorney General who is seated by him. A man who made his mark that a former governor here, who was also a member of the House at that time, as a minority whip, who could whip even majority to order in his days as a minority whip under the ACN. So I want to thank you, sir, Mr. President, for the leadership you provided, not only while he was here, but also for all the support that this Senate, under your leadership, provided, morally and otherwise, to support, encourage, and do everything that you could do other than coming to vote, which you are not privileged so to do because you are not registered in Edo State. But you relocated to Edo to give us solidarity where we needed it most and reassure us that we were not alone. On behalf of the great people of Edo State, who are very happy that we have a new sheriff in town, a progressive sheriff for that matter, I want to thank you for your leadership, for your care, for the support, for all the senators you mobilized. Even when the former governor wanted to come and raid the INEC and change figures, some of our senators here became boxers to protect the votes of Edo State. I won't mention Asuko, for example. I don't need to. Just to say that I'm so excited that he's back here to tell us goodbye. But maybe it's only bye for now, because who knows? As people like Lalong have done, like people like Ojikalu and His Excellency, the Okomo Senator, who knows? He might be coming back here after 8 years to come and complete his senatorial obligations. And I'm sure by then he will be richer in wisdom, in experience, and exposure. And he may just find this place the kind of place he should end his political career. Thank you so much for this privilege.
Distinguished Senator Oshumole, before you stop, I thought it was from your senatorial district.
No, sir.
Okay.
He's from Edo Central.
Okay, otherwise he may retire you when he comes back.
Sir, by the time he's coming back, I would have already retired.
Okay. So conclude.
Because if you add 8 years to the current figure, I do not intend to do well. Well, I do not intend to do 3 times here.
Okay.
So anyway, on a serious note, we are happy that in 30 days, Edo people are aware that there is a new governor in town, humble, resourceful, committed, intelligent, few words, but maximum action. Thank you for the honor of granting him permission to enter along with other senators, including distinguished Senator Matthew Rohide, who left a mark as chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. He is still accounting to us, by the way, publicly in Edo. And there is also the one from the House of Representatives, Ihama, who also made his mark in the House of Rep.
And we have a current one, Odi, who is already doing very well in the House of Rep. So he's surrounded by very eminent men, and I'm not so sure there is a woman. Of course, a former deputy governor who I told him I will beg my colleague not to walk him out because he didn't dress properly. When I was governor of Edo State, the deputy governor, then as majority leader, denied me entrance to the House of Assembly on account of the fact that I was wearing khaki. They walked me out. They didn't allow me to present budget, and I went back home and dressed, quote, properly before I was allowed to present the budget. So when he came in today without a cap in his khaki, I said, two wrongs don't make a right. We will forgive him, but if he tries next time, the rule of the Senate will be read out to his hearing. And he told me he will not do it again. But let me cut it short. We have a former, I think he's still the South-South youth leader of our party. So the governor is well protected by a powerful delegation that escorted him from Edo to pay this farewell visit to this distinguished Senate. Once again, to all of you distinguished senators who supported us in our struggle to reclaim the state for the people of Edo, we are very grateful. Senator Monday, you are welcome. And I thank you for the honor you've done to me as a person and the one you have done to all those who have met you after you became the executive governor of the greatest state in Nigeria after Akwa
Ibom. May I say that of all the speeches, the last sentence was the best. So just to end it, I would like to, two people will say something, and then we close it at that. One is, I've already said that after a while, you become immediate past governor. After you become, when your successor finishes, they now call you former governor. And then when that your next successor, the one that succeeds you, finishes with the one that succeeds him, they now call you ancestor. So let one of the ancestors say something before Ogbowola goes, by way of advice to the incoming or the new governor of Edo State. Your Excellency, Governor Goje, you are now an ancestor of Gombe State.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Mohammed Danjuma Goje, presenting Gombe Central, former governor, and now Christian as an ancestor of Governor of Gombe State. Anyway, I'm happy to be an ancestor because it's a matter of pride. I want to be a governor for 8 years, then to help install another governor for 8 years, then to help install another governor who is going to be 8 years. That's an achievement, and we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us that opportunity. There are not very many in this country. There are millions of Nigerians, over 200 million. And I don't think there are many in that category. So thank you, Mr. President, for giving me that opportunity. Mr. President, I'm not from Edo State, but this governor, the brand new governor of Edo State, is one of us. And you continue to be one of us. Because once a senator for life. I never knew Excellency Monday until 2023, after the elections. And when we are about to choose the leadership of this Senate, that's when I knew him. And since then, to date, I give him my highest respect for one thing. See, if you are a man, you say, I will do this, or this is A. no matter the pressure put on you, you remain in that position by saying it is A, and I'm going to do this. During the last elections, Monday came under tremendous pressure from left, right, from big people, from his constituency, from those near his constituency, very powerful people. Unfortunately for him, he has a very powerful senator very close to him. And there are so many of them also. But Monday kept his word. He kept his word to the end. But having done that, when the whole contest was over, he accepted the reality and the result of the contest and came to accept the leadership that emerged with sincerity, with honesty, with commitment. And that's why I'm sure that's one of the reasons why, despite the fact that he is a member of our party, the APC, the Senate President had to relocate to Edo State to ensure that he became a governor. If Sunday had not behaved well, I know our Senate President, if Sunday and Monday did not change and behave well to him, no matter the issue of APC, Senate President would have found one excuse of another to be absent from Edo State. But I'm sure it is because of the way Monday accepted his leadership, despite the reasons that made him not to initially accept him. That's why he decided to be there and help to ensure that he won the election. I want to advise His Excellency to continue along this line. You will never regret when you keep your words. You will never regret when you take a position, knowing that your position is correct, and never change the position. You will never regret. You can be intimidated. You can be blackmailed. You can be pushed around. But if you know what stand for is the correct thing, stand by it, Excellency, you'll go places. At least that's my principle. At least I've been in this system from Second Republic. I was a member of House of Assembly as a young man. And from 1999 to date, I was either a minister or governor or senator to date. And I think one of the things that kept me is the issue of standing by my position. I say it as it is, to the best of my knowledge, and stand by it. Those that have worked with me, including the Senate President, knows my position. I'm sure if you go like this Sunday, like Senator Oshimole said, maybe after 8 years, you will come to Senate, or not Senate. You can be the Vice President, you can be the President of Nigeria. The sky is your limit, going by your disposition. So I want to congratulate you. I also want to give you my second advice. My second advice is that despite, I know that Edo State, the contest was very, very, very hot. The state has been polarized into two, led by very powerful forces, very, very powerful, very intimidating forces. But now you are the governor of Edo State. You are the governor of everybody. You are the governor of everybody. You are the governor of everybody. What I want to advise you is to try to reduce the opposition, reduce the dichotomy, reduce the fight. At the end of the day, you will emerge more victorious, you'll be more stable, you'll be a happy person. When I became a governor of Gombe State, it was a tough fight. I fought against a sitting governor who spent only one term and I unseated him. After 4 years, I went and I fought it and I removed him as a governor. It was very, very tough. But what did I do? Having taken over as a governor, I look at his own people, those key people that are, not him, those key people that are really very powerful. Look at their interests. Look at what they want. By my second year, more than half of them became PDP. To the extent that when I came to run for my second term, it was a walkover. Please, Monday, don't maintain the dichotomy as it is now. Try to reduce and weaken the other side. Strengthen your side and weaken the other side, and you will succeed. Thank you very much. May God guide you well. Thank you. God bless.
Director General, APC Campaigns 2023, Distinguished Senator Lalong, close it.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Most distinguished senators, Simon Lalong, the member representing Plateau South. I know in Jos, the governor of Edo State is from Plateau North constituency. First, I want to thank God for this opportunity. To our club, my club and Shomole and others, the vertically challenged. We have another governor. We have another governor. Let me, on behalf of the good people of Plateau State, I know that His Excellency spent more than half of his life in Jos. Plateau is known for producing governors and donating to states. Nankwambo is one. Syria Dixon is one. Even in the southeast, we produce Okorocha, Rochas Okorocha. His Excellency Goje is also one. I can go and name all of them that came from Jos. Ojikalu is one. Your Excellency, Monday, you are one of the about 8 or 9 produced from Jos and made governors in other states. Plateau State produced even presidents of Nigeria, including Asiwaju Bola Tinubu today. You will never fail. During the inauguration, I saw, and I thank you very much, all first-class traditional rulers in Plateau State were in Edo. This is the first time that I saw first-class traditional rulers, all from Plateau State, were in Edo for his inauguration. That is to say that he is also a son of the soil. As I was telling Comrade Oshomele, I said, I hope he has collected his C of O from me, because the first C of O that he bought a property, I'm sure, in his life, C of O was from Jos. So go back and take your C of O first, because you will always come back to Jos. On behalf of the campaign council too, we thank God for producing him, a gentleman. When I came to the Senate, I keep on asking him, I said, is this really the right place for you? I asked him one day. He said, whichever God puts me, I will do. Because I said, look, you look too much a gentleman for the Senate. Little did I know that he was going to another place, Edo, to be the governor of Edo State. We pray, our prayer is that at the end of the day, as we watch you, many former governors have said, you are almost going to be a GSM too, perhaps. You will be a governor, you will be a senator, you will be a minister. You will be a minister if you want. So to thank, once again, also add to Mr. President, without you, this success would not have been, this victory would not have been possible after God. I followed exactly your determination. I followed your commitment, and I saw at the end of the day you were there live up to the last election. So we congratulate you, and we congratulate the governor and his entourage. I saw his entourage. All of them are my friends. very good friends of mine. And Shaibu was, if I talk about Shaibu, he's also a Jos man now. Shaibu grew up in Jos, not school, not only school, and a very keen golfer like me. So I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And Mr. Governor, thank you. Welcome. You are one of those with humility that can be governor and even come back to the Senate to recognize that you are in the Senate. God bless you and God bless people of Edo State. Thank you.
Amen. On that note, Your Excellencies, distinguished senators, we may now invite Governor Okwebolo to bid farewell to the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The microphone is not working well. So tell one of your boys to go. So distinguished colleagues, today Distinguished colleagues, I will release the governor of Edo State and members of his entourage shortly. But I know why my left-hand side is very quiet, because the election was between two groups. This side is excited because they won in Edo State. This side is quiet because they still can't believe that they lost. But I must say that even here, some are indifferent because their political party did not contest. That is ABGA. So they are indifferent, but they are looking at the mood of the citizen. For the first time, the civil senator Nengi did not raise his hand because he does not want to make mistake of saying something, and when he leaves here, his political party will go and sanction him. Is a friend? Is your friend, but then your political party is watching you, and they are watching you live. So if you endorse Monday, they will say we are in court. So I want to close with a letter from this side. Distinguished Senator Monday Gwewolo, Governor Edo said, we wish you well. You are a man of few words, but enormous action. Your attitude shall determine your altitude. All you need to do is to leave legacies in the minds of Edo people. In the Senate, you are very amiable. There's nobody here that had any issue with you. You did so well that the Senate recognized you as chairman of public procurement. A duty you carried out. I know a number of people called me and were saying, oh, the Senate Committee on Procurement is inviting me to show procurement papers, to show this. Distinguished Senate President, can you intervene? I said, no, I'm not in the business of interfering in the works of the committees. So go and see Senator Mondo Gwewolo and show your papers that you went through due process to award the contract. So as you are departing from the Senate today, we believe also you are also departing from your position as chairman of public procurement. And therefore the Senate in its wisdom has decided to name a new chairman, Senate Committee on Public Procurement, in the person of Olajide Emmanuel Igbizagba. Igbizagba may move forward and shake hands with your outgoing chairman. He will hand over all properties of the committee to you, and then you'll carry on the job henceforth. It looks like they are almost the same size. Congratulations to both of you. Well done. So let me now go to the other side to conclude it. The President of the Senate. Mr. President, declaration of vacancy, Edo Central Senatorial District. The body of this letter refers. I write to bring to your attention, pursuant to paragraph B of Section 68 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, that the seat of Senator Monday Okpebholo, representing Edo Central Senatorial District, has become vacant. This vacancy has become necessary following Senator Monday Okpebholo's inauguration as the governor of Edo State. In accordance with the Constitution, his seat is now deemed vacant. And we invite you to so declare. I respectfully request that you declare the seat of Edo Central Senatorial District vacant in compliance with the provisions of the Constitution, and request the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to conduct immediately fresh elections to fill the vacancy accordingly. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. As always, this is signed by Senator Abba Moro, PhD, Doctor of Literature. The other one, FIAMN, I don't know what it means, but I've seen one that is FCPA. That may be fellow, Chartered Public Administrators. Am I right? Fellow Chartered Public Administrators, and also the Senate Minority Leader. So in line with your letter and the Constitution, the seat of Edo Central Senatorial District is hereby declared vacant. And INEC is accordingly invited to conduct fresh election to fill the seat left by distinguished Senator Monday Okpebholo. I thank you for your visit to the Senate. This is the last time we'll give you the opportunity to enter here. So you may step forward, take a bow, and then you'll be laid out by the Sergeant at Arms.
take your seats. Take your seats.
Order, please, order.
Order, please.
Distinguished, any petition? The Senate leader.
Order, please. I want to.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the suspended provision of Order 12 of our rules on floor privileges be now restored so that we can commence with our proceedings.
Minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion moved by the Senate leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Petition. Any petition? No petition. The leader of Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The first business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Mongono Mohammed Tahir on the Nigerian Institute of Agricultural and Applied Economics Bill 2024 SB 273. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigerian Institute of Agricultural and Applied Economics Bill 2024, SB 273, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Nigerian Institute of Agricultural and Applied Economics Bill 2024, SB 273, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in my name on the Federal University of Agriculture, ABA, Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 675. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal University of Agriculture, ABANG, Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 675, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal University of Agriculture, ABAC, Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 675, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Oshiomhole Adams on the National Minimum Wage Act Amendment Bill 2024 SB 676. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Minimum Wage Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 676, first reading.
May I, distinguished colleagues, National Minimum Wage Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 676, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Chukwu Chizoba Kelvin on the River Basins Development Authority Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 677. Mr. President,
We should
may we to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title.
As a stranger, Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, River Basins Development Authority Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 677, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, River Basins Development Authority Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB
President,
677, first reading.
Very distinguished
Leader of the
senators, I rise, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, pursuant the fifth business of the day, Order 12, the presentation of our rules, standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Izunaso Osita on the Federal Colleges of Education Act Amendment Bill 2024 SB 678. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Colleges of Education Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 678, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Colleges of Education Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 678, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Nwoye Tony on the Anti-Torture Act Amendment Bill 2024 SB 679. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Anti-Torture Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 679, first reading.
I will release the Anti-Torture Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 679, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues. The first order of the day is the second reading of the Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies, NACA, Benue State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 665. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, 4th December 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Titus Zam Katenga to move the motion for the bill to be read a second.
Distinguished Senator Titus Zam.
The Senate President, my dear colleagues, distinguished senators, my name is Senator Dr. Titus Zam. I represent Benue Northwest Senatorial District, and I rise to present the lead debate on a bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies in Naka, Benue State, SB 665. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, it is with profound gratitude that I rise to lead the debate on the general principles of this very important bill. The bill, among other things, seeks to establish the Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies, Naka, Benue State. It was read for the first time in this Hallowed Chambers on Tuesday, 10 December 2024. Distinguished senators, without any iota of contradiction, acquisition of vocational and technical skills is a major requirement for the economic viability and development of any given nation. Therefore, the establishment of this college will afford the teeming youth of this country who are unemployed the opportunity to acquire the requisite skills in order to contribute their quota to national development. It is noteworthy to mention that there is a high rate of unemployment in this country. And if Nigeria is desirous of combating the menace, we must, as a matter of priority, encourage technical skills acquisition as it is done in other jurisdictions to ensure that we align with global paradigm shift, especially now that artificial intelligence is taking over human activities in white-collar jobs. This is paramount as it will go a long way to check youth restiveness and other social vices in the country, thereby reducing insecurity. This bill seeks to promote innovative learning opportunities in several areas like bricklaying, electrical installations, plastering, roofing, plumbing, painting, cooling systems like refrigeration, carpentry, steel fabrications, welding, among others. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, this bill also demonstrates a renewed commitment to improving career and technical education with a view to ensuring that trainees are better equipped to succeed in the national workforce of our dear country. On this note, I humbly request my distinguished colleagues to support the expeditious passage of this bill because of its strategic relevance to the socio-economic and political development of this country. I thank you.
Senator Odende.
Thank you, Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues. I stand up to support the second reading of this bill. Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues, the importance of education, support particularly technical education. Technical reading of this bill, Mr. President, my esteemed cannot be overemphasized. The importance of education for us, support particularly technical education. Second reading of this bill, technical education cannot be overemphasized. Support the second importance of education for us, support particularly technical education. Second reading of this bill, technical education cannot be overemphasized. Support the
Professor Anthony Ani, Senator.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Professor Anthony Ani. I represent Ebonyi South. I want to first of all thank the presenter of this bill because to me, the bill is well crafted and the objectives were spelled out. We should note that vocational skills are very much needed among our youths. Because when you talk of vocational and technical education, you are talking of education that is practically oriented. It is career in nature, and it prepares recipients, students, for specific jobs. It makes them to be better skilled. And this education to me stands between artisans and professionals. Therefore, those who may not have the opportunity or having higher education may utilize this opportunity to engage themselves in specific skills. Because traditionally, this form of education is non-academic, as it were, because students are judged based on their practical performances. And therefore, in strong terms, support this bill. And it's my desire and wish that every other member of this hallowed chamber will support this bill to go for this third reading. I so support, Mr. President. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Ashuru.
Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President, I'm Senator Ashuru, representing of Kwara South. And I stand to contribute to this bill, very important bill. I am doing so because principally I am an architect and I'm so much involved in the field of constructions. I discovered that Nigeria is undergoing a lot of problems today because of lack of trained artisans. We have a lot of jobs being taken over by our brothers in West Africa who are well trained in crafts. Most of the workers we have in Nigeria are not adequately trained, and we seem to disemphasize this. I'm saying that we need to professionalize our artisans and people involved in vocational study so that we can save a lot of resources and have a gainful employment for mostly of our youths who are not employed. Equally too, many of these trained crafts are highly demanded in developed countries. And I think if they are well trained, it's going to be a source of foreign exchange inflow for Nigeria. So, Your Excellency, I propose that this bill must go to the second reading with the support of all our members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Distinguished colleagues, is there anybody who is opposed to this bill going for second reading? Okay. So those in support that this bill be read a second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies, NACA, Benue State, and for other related matters 2024, SB 665, second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, A bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies, NACA, Benue State, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading taken. This bill is now referred to the Committee on Education, Basic and Secondary. The report back in 6 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the second order of the day is the second reading of Federal University of Technology, Akure Teaching Hospital, Akure Establishment Bill 2024, SB 460. The esteemed senator will record that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 25th May 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Adegbobinre Adeniyi Oyedele to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
The Distinguished Senator Adeniyi Ayodele. Stand.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, Adeniyi Adegbomire, Ondo Central. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on the general principles of the Federal University of Technology, Akure Teaching Hospital Establishment Bill 2024 SB 460. The bill seeks to establish a teaching hospital for the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Ondo State. The first reading of the bill took place on Wednesday, the 22nd day of May 2024. The Federal University of Technology, Akure, was established in 1981. In 2010, the National University Commission, NUC, gave final approval for the commencement of a course in medicine and surgery, MBBS program, by the Federal University of Technology, Akure, with effect from the 2020-2021 academic session. The program or course has since commenced. In order to obtain an MBBS degree in Nigeria, one has to spend approximately 3.5 years in a teaching hospital. The course duration itself is 6 years. The first year is spent in the Faculty of Science, studying physics, chemistry, zoology, and other general subjects. The preclinical years last for approximately 18 months, and success in the examinations after this qualifies the student to proceed to the clinical years, which is mostly spent in a teaching hospital. Federal University of Technology, Akure, first intakes into this medical and surgery program are now approaching the clinical years, which they have to spend in a teaching hospital. Unfortunately, Federal University of Technology, Akure, does not have a teaching hospital. This would, of course, have an adverse effect on the students presently studying medicine and surgery at FUTA. Needless to state that the importance of FUTA having a teaching hospital cannot be overemphasized. FUTA is presently in the process of entering into an MOU with the Ondo State government, the purpose of which is to allow university students temporarily make use of the State General Hospital in Akure. The Instant Bill therefore seeks to establish a teaching hospital for FUTA. The teaching hospital, when established, shall have its composition, functions, and parts of the board as provided for in subsection 2 of section 1 of the University Teaching Hospital, Reconstruction of Boards, etc., Act 2, Cap 215, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria. May I also state that about a week ago, the federal government, upon the directives of Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, mandated the Federal Ministry of Health to carry out an on-the-spot assessment of the proposed site for the construction of the FUTA Teaching Hospital and the facility at the State General Hospital, Akure. Clearly, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu places great premium on the health sector and recognizes the importance of adequately and appropriately training medical personnel in our universities. The least this august body can do, with respect, is to support the initiative of the federal government of Nigeria by voting for the second reading of this bill. I have, for ease of reference and understanding, attached here with a draft of the proposed bill. I cannot overemphasize the need for Nigeria to train more medical personnel, given its ever-increasing population and the brain drain presently being experienced in the medical sector. We must therefore, as a body, take urgent and concrete steps towards training more medical personnel. This bill would ensure this. Secondly, this bill would ensure that the students who are presently studying medicine and surgery in FUTA are properly trained. Medical personnel attend to the health needs of citizens of this country. May I therefore respectfully urge my distinguished colleagues to support the second reading of this extremely important bill. I so move. I am most grateful for all of my colleagues for the opportunity afforded me to lead this debate. Thank you.
Professor of War, Jimo Ibrahim, distinguished senator.
Mr. Senate President, my very distinguished colleagues, my name is Jimo Ibrahim Foronshaw, representing Ondo South Senatorial District of Ondo State, right to support the motion ably moved by the Senior Advocate of Nigeria and most distinguished Senator Adeniyi Ayodele Adegbomire, who represent Ondo Central District in respect of the establishment of Federal University of Technology Akure Teaching Hospital, Establishment Bill 2024 SB 460. I move to second this motion in absolute terms, and I will rather defer my comments to when the debate is fully alive. Mr. Senate President, my very distinguished colleagues, I hereby second this motion as stated. Thank you. God bless you all.
Yes, Senator Ibizagwa.
Mr. President and my very distinguished colleagues, I rise to support the bill proposed by my colleagues, Senator Adeniyi Ayodele Adegbomire, SAS. In the first place, this is a transformative and developmental bill to the people of Ondo State. On this ground, it has to do with the health of the people, because without good health, whatever you have is useless. So this bill has to do with bringing health to the life of people within Ondo State. On this note, I stand to second the bill again, support it, that to move forward to the next passage. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Senator Plan.
President of the Senate, my dear colleagues, I am Senator Dicket Plan, Senator representing Plateau Central. I am up to add my voice in support of this bill, the bill that desires that the Federal University of Technology, Akure, that has established the Department of Medical Sciences, and that students are graduating medical sciences, but yet the university does not have a teaching hospital. I rise to support that this teaching hospital should be established, not just for the fact that the students need a place for practical work of what they learn in class. But all of us are witnesses that in most of our hospitals, the students have turned out very clear to support in the treatment and consultation of patients. And in the absence of a teaching hospital, it's not just the students that are missing. The students are missing, and subsequently the community is missing. Because when you have a teaching hospital and you have students undergoing their practical in the teaching hospital, the society ends up gaining. So establishing this teaching hospital, apart from the fact that it will help to consolidate learning by the students, the society, the immediate community will benefit. So the establishment of this it should be supported by all of us, and I pray that this bill should not stay too long after passing the second reading. It should be brought back, and I hope that it would be ascended so that the people of Akure and environ will enjoy the services of our student doctors, and subsequently our students will be well learned. Thank you for the opportunity to contribute.
Distinguished colleagues, is there anybody opposed to teaching hospital being established in Federal University of Technology? Any opposition? In the absence of that, you may wish to move a motion for it to be read a second time.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that bill on Federal University Akure be read the second time.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that the bill be read a second time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support that this bill be read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Technology, Akure Teaching Hospital to make comprehensive provisions and for its due management and administration and for related matters 2024 SB 460, second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Technology, Akure Teaching Hospital to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters 2024 SB 460, second reading taken. The bill is now referred to two committees, Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary, and Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Form, to report back to the Senate in 6 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the fourth order of the day is presentation and consideration of reports of the Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition in respect of 1. Petition from Mr. Uwalaka Peter Ebere against the Office of Auditor General of the Federation for alleging impropriety and oppressive action. Is it? Sorry, Mr. President. I was so much in a hurry. The third order of the day, the second reading of Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, Amendment Bill 2024, SB 547. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 25th September 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Usman Lawal Adamu to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Distinguished Senator Usman Lawal Adamu.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, my name is Senator Lawal Adamu Usman, representing the good people of Kaduna Central. I rise to lead the debate on the compulsory basic education. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on the general principle, the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act 2004, Amended Bill 2024. This bill was read the first time on 24 September 2024. The UBE got a legal backing in 2004 with the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education and Other Related Matters Act 2004. The Act established the Universal Basic Education Commission as the federal government intervention agency through which federal government contribute to basic education implementation, channel to state and FCT, and require every state assembly and national assembly in the case of FCT to enact law establishing their state Universal Basic Education Board, SBEB, and local government education authorities to ensure, among others, that A, school-age children have access to complete basic education, processing literacy, numeracy, and basic life skills to contribute to national development. B, basic education teachers have equally training with a minimum of the Nigerian Certificate in Education, NCE, and basic education school have conducive teaching and learning environment, and all categories of learners are provided equitable, ample opportunity irrespective of their status, gender, and socio-economic background. Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, the Senate Committee on Education, Basic and Secondary at a retreat on 6 July 2004 on the mandate, activities, progress, challenges, and review of the Enabling Act of the Universal Basic Education Commission, organized by the Commission and with other critical stakeholders in attendance. The retreat revealed that the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act enacted in 2004 is enacted and not intended with the political and social economic realities of the time, but has received any amendment since it enacted. The bill is indeed being sponsored by all members of the committee, Mr. President. The amendment of the UBEC Act is therefore predicted on the argument need to overhaul the basic education sector, address an overwhelming impending need in basic education, bringing the Act in tandem with realities of the time, and address the identify key issues, challenges hindering the successful implementation of the Universal Basic Education in Nigeria by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, as issue of out-of-school children, about 20.5 million UNESCO estimate 2022. Non-inclusion of early child care development and education, which are crucial aspects of children's lives that lay foundation for their future growth and success. Lack of adequate school infrastructure based on 2024 UBEC National Personal Audit report of a total of 907,706 classes are required to conform to the pupil classroom ratio at primary level, while the JSS level, the deficit to be filled stands at 2,805,000 classrooms. Inadequate and low access to funding, such as non-allocation of additional funds for basic education by most states, but reliance only on the intervention by the federal government without matching it with the financial support, thereby eroding and stranded in public schools. Delay in release of allocated funds causing late implementation of the program. Failure by the state to assess the or utilize grant due to inability, unwillingness, or refusal to pay their 50% counterpart funding. Total amount of unassessed matching grant due to state between 2005 and 2018 was over 72 billion. This backlog 2005-2018 unassessed fund was cleared following the presidential directive in 2019 that counterpart funding outstanding against the state should be deducted from their Paris refund and credited to UBEC account, and thereafter state could assess their matching grant. To note that the period of idleness of funds witnessed huge gap in schools infrastructure and instructional material provision from 2019 to November 30, 2023. The unassessed matching grant has accumulated to 22,790,280,908.7. The affected following funds to accumulate and remain unassessed include decrease in value of unassessed funds due to inflation, increase in level of dilapidation of school infrastructure, which require huge resources to fix, and keep funding for any unutilized for more than 2 years, is against the principle of public accountability. Inadequate comprehensive sanction available to the Commission under the UBEC Act to enforce regulations, policies, and strategies basic education under the UBEC Act is a right and of the Nigerian Child Section 1 UBE Act 2004, the African Charter on Human Rights and People Rights Gap A9, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 also makes education of Nigerian child a right under Article 17. It is therefore authoritative that the UBEC Act contain provision sanctions states that do not provide the necessary infrastructure, conducive environment for basic education delivery. Gap in the Act on how the UBEC intervention fund can be disbursed directly to local government, even though the Act provides for the establishment of local government education authority in each local government and assign them roles and responsibility in the UBEC implementation. Currently, funds are disbursed to states through their SUBEB, and the bond determine how to utilize the fund. It should be noted that the local government are responsible for primary education provision and given the financial autonomy to local government by this amended constitution. It is therefore necessary that a percentage of the intervention fund be disbursed directly to the local government through their local government education authorities. The application of the agreed sharing formula by the Federal Executive Council, which does not empower UBEC to intervene directly, invest or otherwise utilize the funds that have not been assessed by the state, except by approved sharing formula. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, in order to address those issues, the bill seeks to amend the following section of the Act. 1. Amendment Section 214 of the Principal Act to include early child care development and education to right to a child compulsory free universal basic education. Increase the scope stakeholder for compliance and fine for non-compliance. B. Amendment Section 3 of the Principal Act for free services in public early child care development, education, increase in fine for non-compliance, and inclusion of local government education authority as an enforcement of authority. C. Amendment Section 7.2 of the Principal Act to substitute the membership of commission to be appointed by the President on the recommendation of the Minister of Education for clarity. D. Amendment Section 9 of the Principal Act to strengthen the function of the Commission for swift implementation of its mandate to ensure that the grant to state, local government, and other relevant agencies implementing the UBEC adhere strictly to approved formula as provided in the Act. E. Amendment Section number 11 of the Principal Act to increase the funding of the compulsory free universal basic education in Nigeria from 2% to 5% of the consolidated revenue fund related in formula for the application of fund provide for the future of the grant by state or for failure to assess the grant and how to utilize the forfeited grant. F. Amended Section 16 of the Principal Act to bring short title in tandem with the amendment proposed. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, in line with Order 17 rules of 3 of the Senate Standing Order 2004 as amended and without prejudice to the provision and financial implication of the bill, if amended, subject to national annual accrual in the consolidated revenue and fund approval of the national budget by the National Assembly, and therefore needed not to be attached. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I therefore passionately solicit your support in considering and passage of this bill, which seeks to amend the Principal Act to enable the early child care development and education strengthen states to meet their commitment to the federal government block grant and enable states and the Universal Basic Education Commission fully implement and actualize the compulsory and free universal basic education for all children of primary and junior secondary school age in Federal Republic of Nigeria. I thank you, Mr. President, and distinguished colleagues.
You, Senator Idiot.
Thank you. Senate will recall that a while ago, I presented a bill, an amendment to the UBEC bill in this chamber. The amendment went through the first and second reading, and at the end, the Senate President referred same to the Committee on Education, Primary and Secondary. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, what I expect that the chairman of the committee, Senator Adamu Lawal, will do today is to present the report of that referral that was sent to his committee. I'm a bit taken aback that is now doing another amendment to the same bill that I have done. Although I must comment that one or two additions have been added to what I did initially. So may I call on the Senate President, I don't know, the leader, to please make a clarification, or the chairman himself, on why this should be so. I so submit, Mr. President.
Yes, Senator Alero.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, Muhammad Adam Alero, my name, I represent Kebbi Central. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to lend my support to this very important bill for 4 or 5 reasons. Number one, the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria is staggering. We have well over 20 million out-of-school children that are supposed to be in school. And unfortunately, the various governments are supposed to cater for them and not doing so. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, we are the only country in the world that have this staggering number. Not even countries like Afghanistan, poor countries like Niger Republic, our neighbor, they don't have this kind of number, even though they don't have our population. So I support fully the proposals in this bill. Number one, we have to ensure that states utilize their allocation given to them by UBEC. Mr. President, I consider it very negligent on the part of the state to allow their allocation to stay for over 4 or 5 years. And when they have need for this money to be used to establish nursery schools, primary schools, and even junior secondary schools. That is what universal basic education is all about. And Mr. President, with your permission, I want to quote Section 18 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to underscore the importance of this bill. With the permission, Mr. President, I read: government shall direct its policy towards ensuring that there are equal and adequate educational opportunities at all levels. It went on to say that government shall strive to eradicate illiteracy, and to this end, government shall, as and when practicable, provide free, compulsory, and universal primary education, free secondary education, free university education, and free adult literacy program. Mr. President, government at all levels are responsible for providing education, whether it is primary school they're talking about, or secondary school, or even university. And in particular, primary education and nursery education is supposed to be the responsibility of local government as far the 1999 Constitution as amended. And I support fully that whatever is standing in favor of the state for Universal Basic Education Fund, if that state fails to give 50% of that amount, the track allocation should deduct that amount from the local government education, sorry, from the local government allocation. I come back again, Mr. President. If the state refused to give its counterpart funding of 50%, then the Ministry of Education, so the Ministry of Health, will deduct the local government allocation to fund that 50%. This is what this bill is saying, and I fully support that. And in that case, funds will not stay unutilized. Mr. President, I also support the increase from 2% of the consolidated revenue fund of the Federation to 5% to fund universal basic education. If we do so, it will significantly reduce the number of out-of-school children in the whole country. Perhaps maybe after 5 to 6 years, we're not going to have that number anymore. So, Mr. President, this is a very good initiative. This is one of the best bills that can be passed by this Hallowed Chamber. I fully support and endorse and recommend it to all my colleagues. Thank you.
Well, distinguished colleagues, I don't think anybody is opposed to this bill. Senate Leader, you may wish to move a motion for the bill to go for second reading.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. Her Excellency, distinguished Idiat Adebule, made an observation, and mine is to clarify that it is a fact that she brought a bill for amendment in this regard. It's also a fact that the bill was read for the first time, for the second time, and was actually referred to the Committee on Basic Education. My humble suggestion in this regard will be to implore the Senate to direct that the two bills be consolidated so that we can proceed with further consideration of the bill. And with respect to the bill sponsored by distinguished Senator Lawa, I want to say that I don't see any one of us being opposed to the bill, except to add with a note of caution that Section 18 of the Constitution, ably cited by His Excellency, most distinguished Senator Adamu, is under Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which, as of yet, remain non-justiciable. You know, and of course, when it comes to talking about them in terms of educational objectives, it's fine for us to be able to cite such provision. So, in all, may I move that the two bills consolidate. Thank you.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think that is appropriate in the circumstances. But to also note that the committee had earlier actually laid a report of the bill sponsored by distinguished Senator Idiat. But at the same time, I think this Senate has the power to say that since there are some similarities in the two bills, that these two bills be consolidated so that we don't make too many laws for just the same subject. I therefore second the motion that the two bills be reviewed and consolidated. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we do consolidate and read the current bill and allow the current bill to pass through second reading. Thereafter, both will be consolidated and brought back to the Senate for consideration. Those in support that it be allowed to pass through second reading, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. So, the clerk of the
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to amend the compulsory free universal basic education cap Act cap N4, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for other related matters 2024, HB 547, second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the compulsory free universal basic education act cap number 4, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for other related matters 2024, SB 547, second reading taken. This bill is to be consolidated with the earlier one brought by distinguished Senator Idiot, and of course, report from the committee to the consolidated report should be brought back to the Senate for further consideration after passing through due process. And therefore, this one is referred also to the Committee on Basic and Secondary Education. So we give you 4 weeks. Let me thank distinguished Senator Usman Lawal, chairman of the Committee on Basic and Secondary Education, and hope that the advice given by the Senate will be adhered to. The two bills will be consolidated because education is very paramount, and the number of out-of-school children are developing on a daily basis. For us to make progress as a nation, we must reduce the number of people that are susceptible to being recruited into banditry and kidnapping and other vices. Education is the key to understanding even the dynamics, the metrics of government. So I thank you. I thank my colleagues for all their contributions, and I believe strongly that this will move the nation forward. Yes, without a second. You want to look at the mood?
Well, Mr. President and very distinguished Senate, I will always take into consideration the mood of the Senate, especially when our colleagues are under some pressure, knowing that people are waiting for them in their committee rooms to be able to hold their committee meetings and public hearings.
But I have one problem.
Yes, sir.
This motion
Yes,
not come at that
that's
time.
actually where I was going, sir. We have a motion from the single Senator Akobundu, which we had to step down twice. So in that regard, sir, may I move that we step down, we stand down the fourth and fifth order of the day to another legislative day to enable us to take the sixth order of the day as the last order of the day. And this is a motion standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Akobundu Austin on the need for special intervention by the Senate to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to expedite action and complete the rehabilitation of the Umuahia Ikot Ekpene Federal Road to relieve the suffering of Nigerian motorists and addressing security in the area. Mr. President, if this motion is seconded by the minority leader and is supported by our colleagues, it then would mean that the single Senator Akobundu will be able to. I so move.
Yes. Minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion ably moved by the Senate leader. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved that we step down the other items on the other paper except the last item, which is the motion by Senator Coburn. And those in support of this motion has moved and seconded. Say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. So we take this motion as the last item. Senator Coburn.
Thank you, Mr. President. My dear colleagues, I rise to move the motion on the need for special intervention by the Senate to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to expedite action and complete the rehabilitation of the Umuahia-Ekotepene Federal Road to relieve the suffering of Nigerian motorists and address insecurity in the area. The Senate notes that the Umuahia-Ekotepene Road, a major link between Abia State and Akwa Ibom State through Ikwano local government area, has been in a deplorable state of disrepair for over 30 years. Also notes that despite efforts by successive governments at both the federal and state levels to provide remedial interventions, the road has remained in poor condition for reasons that appear inexplicable. Observes that following years of public outcry from the people of Abia and Akwa Ibom states, the federal government awarded the contract for the total reconstruction and rehabilitation of the road in 2018 to Mrs. Heartland Nigeria Limited and Redon and Company Nigeria Limited, valued at approximately 13 billion naira. Subsequently, funding for the project was transferred to the NMPC under the tax credit initiative. Aware that Mrs. Heartland Nigeria Limited and Redon and Company Nigeria Limited have since commenced work on the first phase of the project. However, the pace of work has been extremely slow. Many dilapidated portions of the road have further deteriorated due to the last rainy season, rendering them impassable and creating significant hardship for motorists and traders commuting both Abia and Akwa Ibom states. Residents of Ikwano local government in Abia State Senatorial Districts, Abia Central Senatorial District, have also been left in a state of despair. Further aware that the issue of slow pace of work on this road was raised during the debate on the 2024 appropriation bill last year, yet no significant progress has been made. Conscious of the economic consequences of the delay in completing the project on the people of Abia and Akwa Ibom states, who rely on this road daily for commuting, trade, and other activities. Worried that unless urgent measures are taken by the federal government to repair the failed sections of the road during this dry season, the road will be completely cut off during the next rainy season. This would exacerbate the sufferings of the people and motorists who depend on this vital link between Umuahia in Abia State and Ekotepene in Akwa Ibom State. It would also further hinder transporters traveling this route daily from Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Abia, Onitsha, and Lagos. Consequently, the Senate resolves to 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Works to immediately release funds for the completion of the Umuahia-Ekotepene road during the current dry season. 2. Mandate the Senate Committee on Works to urgently investigate and unravel the causes of delays and determine the extent of failure and report back to the Senate within 2 weeks for further legislative action. I so move. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity.
Senator Joseph Gallo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to support the motion ably moved, Senator Akobondo. Umuahia Ikotekpene Road. It's a very important road. The economic way living of Oboro, Pende, and all those areas that are producing cocoa and the palm oil. These are the routes people use in evacuating this product. And this road is very economical to people of Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Abia, Anambra, Imo, Enugu, because they use it as a cut short. Instead of going to Aba, they use this road to just get straight to Ikotekpene and Ikotekpene to Cross River. And this is even Mr. President's own senatorial district. Mr. President ought not to keep quiet in this thing. Mr. President is supposed to take it very serious because his senatorial district is adjoining to Senator Komodo's senatorial district. So, Mr. President, I align myself totally and I urge all my colleagues to support this very important road that Senator Komodo is saying because it's going to serve my senatorial district, Mr. President's senatorial district, and Senator Komodo's senatorial immediate district, and other senatorial districts that are there. And about 5, 6, 7 states will get benefit of this all-important road. Mr. President, I so submit that I align myself with all the prayers and urge our colleagues to support all the prayers. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
The civil senator, Ojuzakalo, having been a governor in the capital, Aroma here, you can imagine your passion. I'm also affected. So it is better for you to cry for me than for me to cry on my own. Because I belong to the whole country. Thank you, thank you. It will really help me if something is done about it very fast. It seems there's a consumption. I'm sure you have passed through that road.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Ekong Samson. I speak for Akwa Ibom South. Very understandably, the concern clearly shown about the condition of Umuahia, Ikotekpene Road, portrays a metaphor of sorts. This is one road that serves not just Akwa Ibom and Abia. The road serves Nigeria. The entire stretch hosts huge traffic, volumes of traffic daily that drives business through vast districts in this country. And beyond the importance of this road is that centrally, this road leads to the hometown of our dear Senate President, who has served this country very well. Some time back, I raised attention about the condition of Calabar Itu. At a time that the country appreciates the contributions of our Senate President, between Aba and Ikotekpene, there's agony about the condition of the road. It will be well done and clearly stated if Ikotekpene Umuahia Road is done. This will clearly show respect to our Senate President. The country will applaud if Ikotekpene Aba Road is fixed. It will also be a huge tribute to our Senate President who has done well for Nigeria, as well as the huge traffic that applies those major roads daily. The condition of Calabar Itu Road, or as framed by in our earlier motion, Udupani Itu Road, is pathetic. And these are major pathways that help to drive the economy of this country. So this motion has been well framed. It's a current call that we must look at the Southeast and the South-South, not just out of respect for our Senate President, who is doing very well for Nigeria, but as a response to the yearnings, to the agony of a lot of people in Akwa Ibom, Abia, and the rest of this country. So on behalf of Akwa Ibom South, my humble self, Ekong Samson, I stand tall to support this motion as framed and canvassed. It will bring relief to a lot of people, to the traffic that makes use of this important road. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me invite the governor's maker and Southeast kingmaker, distinguished Senator Victor Ome, who has had the privilege of producing about 4 governors so far. And I hope all of them are loyal. And he also represented the Senate at the tax reform roundtable organized by Niels earlier today. So you know more here. I think it's still the capital of Abia State.
It's capital of Abia State.
Nobody can reach that place. You know Aba, the commercial capital of Abia State. Nobody can reach that place from the area. And then the same way, Calabar, we can't. So actually, Akwa Ibom is cut off. Without the airport that I did, Akwa Ibom people would never have been able to reach Nigeria, the rest of Nigeria. So it's only through the air that we can reach the rest of Nigeria. Abai Iktarikpene Road, 39 years, now 41 years, nobody has passed. Umuahia, totally gone. Calabar to Road, now we pass through the water. So many people are drowning between Oron and Calabar. This is something that was brought to an end in 1975 under the then administration of Brigadier General Eswene. So it's something that somebody will say, oh, Senate President is from there. Then I'll answer them, go and watch the Spanish play. The rich also cry. Say something.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I have to rise on your recognition to speak on this road. It's because it's a road I've used several times in the past and in the present time. This Umuahia Ikotekmene road is very important economic road, not just because of people from there, like you, the uncommon Senate President. This road serves very, very critical purpose of connecting the southwest to the southeast to south-south through Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Calabar. It's a major corridor and is a link road. If you look at the other roads, Abato Ikote Ekmene to Dupani to Calabar, they now connect this Umuahia Ikote Ekmene, then Umuahia to Aba. It's a triangle. It's a triangle. And we have so much traffic on this road because of the economic activities through that road to the Calabar Free Export Processing Zone and other things. We have debated this on the motion brought by Senator Sokwo. Calabar, Udukbani, Itu Road, then connecting the Ekpene to Umuahia, then to Aba. If we're able to do these 3 roads or 2 roads, Calabar to Aba through Ekpene, and then Ekpene to Umuahia, you will save the commuters and transporters so much. So the distance is not much. From this Umuahia to Ekpene, it's not much. But you go through very severe difficulties passing through the bumps and the owner. A serious contractor can finish this job in less than 12 months. And these vehicles will move. From the public hearings we have had on the Calabar Odukpani Itu Road last week, if these roads are done, business activities will move with greater speed than what we presently see. The high cost of moving goods through this road is enormous. So I pray that everybody will see this, not just because of people around the road, it's because of the service this road renders to the general Nigerian public. Things move from there to Edo State. Things move through this road to the whole of Southeast and sometimes down to Lagos. So looking at the prayers, I personally support that money, special money should be found somewhere, because these roads have contracts on them already with contractors, and they don't perform. Being that some of them don't receive money, this Ikore Ekpene Umuahia Road must be suffering poor funding. So I support this and believe that if this road is done, going to Uyo or Calabar from my own axis will be so easy. We can leave on time and get there on time. And goods can move from their bases to wherever they're going with less difficulty. So I thank Austin Akobundu. I traveled through this road with him one day. Austin, you're not listening. I traveled through this road with you.
No, speak to the speak to the Senate.
And we experienced the bad road together. So that's why I said I must support this motion to underscore the seriousness it deserves. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Azuko, just 1 minute because of time.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Asuko Ekpeyon, Senator representing Cross River South. Your Excellency, there is not much for me to add to this, but just to add my voice to that of that infrastructure is the bedrock for any level of commerce. The standard of living of people in any community or any environment is dependent on the level of infrastructure that is available for them for the ease of movement of goods, passengers in those communities. We all know how vital Aba and Ikotekpene is to the artisan industry of this country, small and medium enterprise. That road, that linkages create an artery for the movement of cargoes and people. It is imperative that not just because our Senate President is from that region, not just because Senator Akibodu is from that region, but because the people of this country who are taxpayers are from that region. We have to put it as a top priority. And it flows from the motion that was moved in this Senate about the Odukpani Itu Road, because that serves as also an exit corridor along the route. It is important that this Senate, in fact, this National Assembly takes it as a top priority. Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, Senator.
Thank you. There is nobody opposed to this motion. So we just look at the prayers. Prayer 1, urge the Federal Ministry of Works to immediately release funds for the completion of the Umuahia-Ikotekpene Road during the current dry season. Those in support of this prayer amendment, yes, Senator Ashiru.
Mr. Senate President, I wish to amend it to immediately arrange for funding. Because when you say release, if the money is not available, nothing will be released. And make make sufficient appropriation in 2025 budget.
Thank you. So, urge the Federal Ministry of Works to immediately arrange funding sources for this road and make appropriate arrangement for release of the funds on time to enable any contractor take advantage of this price. Any seconder? Yes, Senator Sitangu.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Sitangu, Enugu West. Mr. President, I second the motion as moved by the deputy leader. I so second.
Thank you. Prayer 1 has been amended to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to immediately arrange funding for this road to release same for the completion of the Umuahia Ikari Road to take advantage of this dry season. Those in support of prayer 1 as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, mandate the Committee on Works to urgently investigate and unravel the causes of delays and to determine the extent of failure and report back to the Senate within 2 weeks for further legislative action. Those in support of prayer 2, say aye. Amendment, yes. Is this Senator Moro?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to ask that prayer 2 be expunged on the strength of the fact that prayer 1 has captured everything that is required on that road. Having urged the Federal Ministry of Works to mobilize funds and release same for the completion of the releasing, it will be like putting the cart before the horse to say, do investigation. So I was saying that prayer 2 has captured the whole essence of the motion, and asking for investigation again before this and that will be delaying the process of mobilizing and releasing funds. Therefore, I move that prayer 2 be expunged.
Yes, any seconder? Yes, Senator Gadaga.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I stand to Ensign Agadaga is my name from Bayelsa East Senatorial District. I rise to second the motion by Minority Leader that section be expunged. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved that prayer 2 be expunged, since prayer 1 has taken care of the essence of the motion, which is to ensure that action is taken on that road. Those in support of the expunging prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Let me thank Senator Kabundu for bringing this, and pray that we will, the Ministry of Works will see the need to do something about that axis of Nigeria, because a lot of good things happen. Even we have the Federal College of Agriculture, is it Aguleri or so, along that road, Umodike rather, and then we have a lot of sample farms. We have farm produce, a lot of things that come from that area. Then, of course, I believe that it will add value and revive Aba and Umuahia and as trading partners to Calabar, Port Harcourt, and other areas if those roads are done. We will continue to cry out, take the message to the Ministry of Works so that they take a look at that area, because people are actually dying those roads. I thank you for your contribution. I pray that this will be the last time we bring these issues up for consideration by the Senate. Leader of the Senate, having completed the day's sittings.
Point of order, sir.
Point of order?
Yes, sir.
We did not extend the time within which we should. Can the point of order be taken tomorrow? Because we have to close in 1 minute. We have to close in 1 minute. Leader.
Well, Mr. President, unfortunately, we did not move for extension of time, but I guess whichever point of order that our distinguished colleagues want to, she can just hint on which order, so that by the next legislative day, we can start our day with that.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm Senator Natasha Akpotudwa, representing the people of Kogi Central. My point of order is on Order 1B, which is slight amendment to the practice and procedure of the Senate, because it hinders on a matter of public urgent importance. It has to do with the ongoing demolition of an estate owned by Paul Osa. in Abuja that the Minister of FCT has recently ordered the demolition of the estate. And we have seen on social media and on the news that the big cries of the indigents, that the residents of that estate. So, sir, we appreciate if you can quickly grant this prayer. One, urge the FCT administration to halt the ongoing demolition of the said property, as it does not fall within the purview of the reasons from the massive demolition being carried on presently. There are families living there, children who could be made homeless today. Please, I would appreciate if you kindly call for the halt of the demolition while the Senate looks into the issues at hand. Thank you, sir.
Well, if that's your motion, please make it written and then present it tomorrow on the next legislative day, since we are out of time. Senate Leader.
Very well, sir. Thank you.
Well, Mr. President, I thank you for your ruling. But let me also inform that the senator representing FCT, distinguished Senator Iroti Kinjibe, had also hinted, I know she discussed this with you and discussed with the leadership here. So perhaps the two be consolidated, against tomorrow morning, so that we don't have two different points of order on the same subject matter of public importance. Having said that, Mr. President, let me just say that having concluded what we have on today's order paper, that the Senate now do stand adjourned till Thursday, the 12th day of December 2024. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion heavily moved by the Senate Leader that the Senate adjourns plenary for the next legislative day, which is tomorrow, the 12th of December 2024. I so second.
Dismissed colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those who are in support of the adjournment to tomorrow, 12th day of December 2024, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate stands accordingly adjourned to 11 a.m. prompt tomorrow.